The hardest thing in the world is to be a footballer.
Okay.
I mean, I think parents need to understand this. It's the hardest thing in the world to be. It's harder to be a professional footballer than a brain surgeon. It's harder. You know, everybody wants to be a footballer. Not everybody wants to be a brain surgeon. You know, if you want to be a brain surgeon, you pick up a book and you study it and study it and study it. And if you do everything properly, you'll be a brain surgeon. You can work as hard as you can at football. That doesn't mean you're going to be a footballer. And that's...
Here's the secret. Talent alone won't get you into the league. Sometimes you just have to be at the right place at the right time. I found that out the hard way. I spent years chasing the dream, early mornings, drills, healthy diets, and big ambitions. But despite giving it everything, I never made it to the big leagues. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on what really stopped me from making it pro. I'll walk you through what I did right, where things went wrong, the painful truths, and the lessons you can take if you're still chasing that dream. Stick around. You're going to want to hear this. I was that kid in the recreational leagues with Nike boots, spiked hair, cut socks, imagining the roar of the crowd. When I was 12, I joined an MLS academy. I trained hard, twice a day sometimes, sacrificing everything because I believed this was my shot. Every match felt like an audition. Every session, I was watched. What I did on and off the ball, everything counted. Coaches would say, "You've got so much potential." I believed it, my parents believed it, my friends believed it. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. The dream stayed, but the reality of life was harder to escape. Where things began to shift. As I moved into the older age groups, several things crept in. The physical leap. The older you get, the faster, stronger, more mature the competition becomes. I remember thinking, as long as I was good at football, nothing else would matter. But then everyone got bigger, quicker, smarter. Technically, it wasn't enough to dribble well or score goals. Coaches favored players who understood tactics. I felt as though these players were looked as more reliable over players who could entertain and make football look sexy. That was a harsh lesson. Then came the scouting gap. I saw good players getting picked, youth scholarships handed out, but the funnel narrowed fast. Only a few spots left and hundreds waiting for their chance.
There's a word on it that says chance. Go out, express yourselves. Today will be tough for you. Some of you will be soul searching by the end of the day, and we have to get down to 50 players. This is a life-changing experience for one of these boys, and if they can't be inspired by that, then really they're in the wrong place. They are up against each...
Perform, to prove, to justify your spot. There were nights I lay awake thinking, if I don't make it, was this all for nothing? And then off-field life. School, family expectations, jobs, and yeah, relationships. When you're young and chasing the dream, football feels like your whole life until real life starts creeping in. At that age, it's easy to get caught up. You want to enjoy life, meet new people, maybe someone gives you attention, and suddenly your focus shifts. One late night turns into two, texts during training, arguments before a game, or just mentally being elsewhere. I'm not saying don't date. I'm saying timing and maturity matter. If you're not emotionally solid yet, relationships can pull you off track without you realizing it. I've seen talented players lose form because their head wasn't in it, not because of injury or coaching, but because priorities blurred. When you mix youth, ego, and emotion, it's a dangerous combo. Looking back, I'd tell my younger self, the game comes first, until you've built the foundation. You only get those key years once. Systemic factors that I underestimated. Football's a pyramid, wide at the base, razor thin at the top. Everyone wants the dream, but only a handful get contracts, spots, or coaches willing to take risks. At academy level, you might feel special. Maybe you're the best in your area, but zoom out and there are thousands just like you. It's like being top of your class, then walking into a room full of other number ones. Suddenly, you're average again. You're competing not just with skill, but with age, nationality, and opportunity. Some have backing, some have sponsors, some just have luck. You might crush it one week, but the next trial, there's someone faster, hungrier. That constant churn builds character, or breaks confidence. Then there's money. The part no one talks about. The beautiful game isn't cheap. Some families can afford coaches, travel, nutrition, recovery gear. Others can't, and that gap shows. I saw players good enough to go pro, but unable to afford the extras: travel, food, equipment, even time off from part-time jobs. Meanwhile, others had everything covered. That doesn't make it unfair, but it makes it uneven. And then, the politics. That's why mindset matters. You can't control the politics, but you can control your reaction. Stay focused long enough, and your consistency will force people to notice.
Bellingham. Ooh, what about that for a volley, eh? Technique, look at that.
Youth to senior football. I trained like the younger me instead of evolving with the level. I had distractions, school, doubts, other things. While others went all in, I was half in. Timing and luck didn't align. And maybe the biggest thing, I didn't see myself as an asset. From young, I saw football as passion, not a platform. I wanted to play, not position myself. I never realized clubs see players as investments. If I'd thought that way earlier, I'd have trained like a pro before I became one. Treated recovery like training, networking like part of the job, consistency like currency. It's not about blame. It's about truth. Here's the real challenge. Even when you do almost everything right, making it to the league isn't guaranteed. The system's stacked, the odds extreme. If you don't see the gap between great youth player and professional adult athlete, it can break you. The problem isn't just talent, it's recognizing the margins. It's understanding the drop-off where tiny differences decide careers. And it's preparing for that question. What happens if I don't make it? What I wish I had known sooner in my football career. First, the leap from youth to senior is massive. Faster, harder, more physical. Recovery's shorter, mistakes cost more. If you're still training like you did at 16, you'll get found out. 2. Skill is great, but game intelligence wins. Can you read the play? Adapt roles? Handle pressure? Technical ability gets you noticed. Tactical maturity keeps you in. 3rd, consistency. One good game isn't enough. Coaches want reliability, not one-hit highlights. Last thing is luck and timing. Sometimes the only difference between getting signed or not is who's watching that day. It's brutal, but true. What was the turning point during my football career? I got that partial offer, not the full pro deal. I remember sitting alone after training. Coach said, "You're good, but we can't guarantee you this season." That line broke something in me. But it also taught me something deeper: skill. And being good at something isn't enough. It's skill plus timing, plus growth, plus patience. So here's what I learned. It's not just about being good. It's about evolving physically, mentally, tactically. It's about understanding the system and the odds. If you're chasing the dream, go for it. But be smart, be honest. Build more than footwork. Build mindset, body, and plan. If you don't make it, that's not failure. That's an outcome. What matters is how you use it. When football didn't work out, I had 2 choices: stay bitter or pivot. I chose to pivot. I took that same discipline, focus, and competitiveness and built something new. I started my software career from scratch. No degree, no connections. Just the same grind I learned from chasing the game. It wasn't easy. The first years felt like starting again at the bottom of the academy. Learning, getting rejected, proving myself. But slowly, it clicked. I learned to code, to think in systems, to improve like I used to practice finishing. Over the next 10 years, that mindset paid off. I built my career, earned my way up, and made over $500,000. Not because I got lucky, but because football already built the mindset. I just changed the field I was playing on. That's why I always say, it's not failure, it's redirection. The redirection is as important as how you failed. Sometimes not making it to the league gives you the hunger that not many people possess in the real world. You have a wealth of experience that already puts you ahead of majority of people. That's it for today. I'll see you at the next checkpoint.